Hey guys, how's it going? Happy Friday. And as a highlight towards the end of this amazing week, I obviously wanted to connect with Brooke, who is a member of Nourish the Weight Loss System for Busy Moms. And just sit down with her and have a quick chat about, her experience because Brooke, and we were just talking about this, prior to the call, Brooke has been a inspiration to me, personally, and her journey, our journey together through this process and connecting with her has been incredible. She truly is one of the women that I can say really digs in and does the work every single day, which is what makes her so inspiring and so magical. And so I just wanted to bring her on to share in this goodness and share her experience, so that you guys can just sort of understand the mindset that's sort of required to take this massive shift into transformation. And obviously I suck at doing intros. So Brooke, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody?
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Brooke Camp. I am currently 38. I will be 39 in July. I have three amazing kiddos that are 10, 11, and 13. My husband and I have been married we've been together for 20 years, but we've been married for 15, no, almost 16. So, yeah. So, I guess another little piece about me is I, interestingly enough, and I think I told you this, Lindsay, I studied exercise science, exercise physiology. I actually came out of college with a degree in it. And so that's always been in my background. I am a pediatric occupational therapist right now. I work for the school systems in local school districts where I live. I work with students with special needs, and I love my job. And so when I found this community, of course, the weight loss thing caught my attention. I'm sure I probably came onto your Nourish page with one of your posts. And if I remember correctly, I think I responded to one of your things, which then I think you sent me a message. I don't know that I answered it. Something else came. This is all last summer. And then something else came up. I feel like it was maybe in August. I was on a canoe trip and I found something else that you'd posted. It was about hormones. And so I think I sent a message back, and then you emailed me again, and then we kind of went back and forth, and then you suggested that we do the call just to see if the program was for me. And we were giggling about this because we then at the very end of August were on our way camping, and Lindsay and I had our call in the vehicle with my husband and my three kids in the back.
It was an adventure. It was an adventure.
I made my husband stop at a gas station because I had to process this information and have a personal conversation with you, Lindsay. And then we were dying because at the end, when it came down to it, I was like, heck yeah, this is for let me go get my credit card. Hold on, just 1 second. And I'm a technology idiot, so I was having all kinds. I mean, it was on Bluetooth. The kids were involved. It was just crazy, but it definitely is something that hindsight is 2020, and I just wish I would have done this so much earlier in my life. I don't know why I waited. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I kind of jumped all over the place.
I love it. I know. I remember it was just it was the best call, because even with this spotty internet, we were still connecting, still laughing, still chatting about everything. It was awesome. And I got to kind of go on your vacation for a little bit.
On our trip.
So then let me ask you this. Being, having that background of, phys ed and everything, how do you feel like your health and your nutrition looked like before we started working together?
Okay. Well, it definitely looked a lot different. It was actually again, hindsight is 2020. When I look back, it was really scary. It was really confusing. What led me actually to go into that field, to get my degree in exercise science, is I struggled with an eating disorder all of my teen years. It was anorexia, and it was terrible. Lots of doctor's appointments, lots of nutrition appointments, some counseling. It was pretty severe. So when I think that was probably like maybe the first, like maybe the beginning of like a mindset shift for me, is because at some point I realized that I needed to eat in order to live, and I knew I wanted to live. So once I began eating, because in my mind initially that absence of food was like, oh yeah, that's gonna help me lose weight and all these things. It was really about more control. But of course I obviously saw drastic weight loss with that. But I knew that in order to survive, I had to have food. So that's what led me to go into my studies about exercise physiology, because then I kind of changed it from food to exercise, because then I just began eating, probably not the way I should have to nourish my body, but obviously my body needed nourishment, it needed food. So then I went into exercise science, and then the control, and then the focus turned into like over exercising and just going balls to the wall on that, which was not healthy, but it was a compensation for that. So then I guess fast forward, a couple years, graduated with that. I ended up going into occupational therapy, got married, had kids. And so all of that has always been in the background. I don't have I love working out. My motivation for working out is not a problem. But my thought on like what we would call dieting or nutrition, I had no concept. I had no healthy concept. I had no healthy relationship with food. In my brain, it was just, you need it to survive. But I wasn't ever looking at it in terms of like macros or, carbs and fat. And it was just like food. It was like food. So probably just like every other woman on the planet, it was the roller coaster, we have this lovely, confusing thing called the internet. So, you read something, you think, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to try that. Or like, oh, okay, well, here's another plan. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try detox. I'm going to try this. Oh, I just feel fluffy. So it was always kind of this up and down, super confusing, because you can read 10 different articles and they tell you 10 different things, and that sucks. So that's how I would say, I felt what it looked like before. It was confusing. It was up and down. It was all over the place, and it never lasted. Like anything I did never lasted. It would maybe work for a time and then it ended. Versus now, I feel like you have given me a toolbox. You've changed my life. My view on it now is it's not just about my weight. It is about nourishing my body physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually, and showing up for myself every single day, which is far beyond anything that I thought I was going to get when I initially signed up. Like, we had some real raw conversations about, food, and I have a daughter. And so of course, that's a huge driving force to me. I do not want her to ever grow up like I did, dealing with that. So now I feel like it is about the food, but it's about the food because you've taught me how to do that. You've taught me how to enjoy food, that I can eat balanced. I can still enjoy a glass of wine. I can still enjoy a piece of pizza. I don't feel like guilt over that anymore. But I feel like it's really so much more about so many more things than just the food. The food is like a very small piece. I feel like now I feel empowered. I feel more confident about my decisions. I feel happy. I feel joyful. I feel gratitude for everything. Not that I didn't have those things before, but I don't feel foggy anymore. I think that was in my vision, when I first wrote that, is I don't want to wake up feeling foggy, and I don't want to wake up feeling groggy. And I don't want to wake up and the first thing I worry about is like, you know, my stomach hurting, or I don't want to wake up and open my eyes and think about my weight. And those things have I don't know, evaporated. I'm not going to say that they don't happen every once in a while. They do, because I mean, they just do. But it's just, this is your turn, but you've helped me move my needle forward, because I'm in so much healthier place now. And I think a lot of that has to do with my mental health. I think that knowing that I have a very sound, educated, knowledgeable, professional guide, which is you, that you didn't lead me in a million different directions. You got me right back on a path it's not even a diet. It's a life change. So I'm just eternally grateful that I found you.
Oh.
And I hope that anybody else seeing this video really thinks about it. Go grab that credit card, girls, because it's going to change your life. I'm telling you right now.
Oh my God, the giggles that I have with you, they're never ending. They're never ending. So you touched on so many things. So, oh my God, I don't even know. So, and you kind of touched on this a little bit. So what do you think has been the most rewarding thing about this journey for you?
Oh gosh. There's so many things. I think just the fact that I don't find my worth anymore in a number on the scale or the size in my jeans. I feel right now, I feel vibrant and I feel joyful and I feel healthy and I feel nourished. I feel clear. I haven't ever had that I just haven't had that ever before. And it's all thanks to your guidance in this program. Seriously, I would not be where I am at today without all of the support and all of the tools and all of the trainings. And I think too, there are still moments when I struggle. I think I emailed you last week and I said, hey, I'm going back and I'm watching the videos and I'm going back to my modules because it is helping keep me on the track. And instead of that all or nothing mentality of like, oh, I just fell off the rails, I'm just getting right back up. I'm just getting back up and getting my ass back up, and we are moving forward. And I think that is the most valuable is my mind. I feel empowered. I feel worthy to do this. As a woman, as a mom, it's changed my life.
That's incredible. It's like doing, well, I mean, and it's like doing reps. It's like a muscle that you have to you got to keep working it. And sometimes it's going to fall off, but you just got to, you got to keep going. So with everything that you learned, and this may be about food or it may not be about food, what do you think has been the most valuable to you?
Oh gosh. Well, I think it has all been valuable. I feel like I would have a hard time saying what has been most. It definitely started with the food. I think that I did the upgraded version, so I chose to go the macro way, the tracking the macros, I'm sorry. So I think it's definitely started with that for me because I'm type A, I'm OCD, I'm a perfectionist, which are all probably not, positive things always, but those definitely drove me to follow that plan, which I feel like is what got me on the rails. And then once we were going along with that, I feel like then, I participated in the challenges. And that's where I really feel like the work started to come in, was diving in. You say it, when you feel resistance or a challenge, you got to dive in head first, because that's where the work's at. That's where the change is at. Yeah. And so I feel like once I kind of got a little bit more consistent with the food and the balanced meals and all that stuff, where that true work really started coming in was when I was working on me, when I started working on things like my sleep and my stress. Oh Lord, girl, you had to counsel me. So there were so many things about take a break, just take 3 minutes, go out to your car and take a breath. So I feel like like all of that coming together. But I do feel like for me, it started with the food. I had to get that in check. And then I was able to kind of move along with the other things.
And then the rest of it sort of just fell into place. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is, I mean, I know from my own experiences too, like when you start a diet, or like, you know, if you're struggling, if you have a goal and you're struggling to achieve it, it takes up so much real estate in your head. And so once you have a path, once you have a plan, and once you know how to execute it, and you know, you feel cradled and supported by somebody who's there and who's got your back, you have so much more room. Like there's so much. I always say that about moms. Like I'm like, there's so much real estate being like, there's so much brilliance in here that you're not tapping into, because there's all this other stuff going on, about stuff that you can totally fix. And so then with that, and I mean, and I know, so for everybody so we did a challenge in January in the nurse community, where, you know, after coming back from, you know, December and Christmas, a lot of us were feeling burnt out, and so it was sort of like a fill up your cup sort of challenge, and you know, there were journaling prompts every single day, and I know all of the women, you know, just dove right in and loved it. And so what, in terms of, let's talk a little bit outside of food. What surprised you the most from a mindset perspective that you got from the program that you weren't expecting to get?
Oh gosh. I guess from the mindset, I guess I had no idea how much I was getting in my own way. I guess I really had, I mean, I was clueless. I had no idea that putting in that time, putting in that work would result in such a change. You know, I'm not going to say that I wasn't a believer of that beforehand. But, you know, I'm kind of like, yeah, you work hard, you get in, you get it done, you move on. I mean, I would have never had any idea that pruning back all the weeds, like going on up here, would allow me to bloom and grow. And it's just given me,
I love that.
Yeah, it is. It's like, you know, we had loggers come through, and they like cut off the top of certain trees so that the young trees could grow up. And I'm like, oh, that's totally what's happening. Because it was in there. I had no idea that I was capable of it. You know, for so long, I think because of that eating disorder, it really, I associated myself as that was my like identity. And I didn't know that I would ever be able to get rid of that. I mean, it is always with me, and it is, it's just a part of me. It's a part of my past that has made me who I am today. But I think the thing that was most shocking is that I could do this. I just didn't know that I had it in me to do that. And I had no idea that taking time and focusing and journaling and, hey, cutting the screen-free day. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love screen-free Sundays. So just all of these little things you talked about, tiny habits, and I mean, just all these little things that I would never have done on my own. I had no idea that doing them, participating in them would, I mean, it like blew my mind. I think that's what's most shocking and I think that is what has got me where I am right now too.
Mm-hmm. And I want to honor you for how you have an unwavering commitment to always taking care of yourself, and always to digging in to make sure that you actually face whatever it is that's blocking you. It's a rarity, Brooke, and I really, really, I want to honor that in you, because it's a magical gift that you give to yourself every single day. So let's dive into, let's go in a little bit of a different direction. So, you know, you and your husband have been together for 20 years. Amazing.
I know.
You need to write a book on how you do that, girl, because I'm about 5 years in, and I'm like, whoa, this is a lot. But so how has all of this, like, how would you say, if anything, I mean, if it hasn't, that's totally fine too, but has this impacted your relationship with your husband at all?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yes, for sure. Um, that day when I ran to the car to get the credit card, he didn't even ask. Not right away, at least. He didn't even ask. He was just kind of like, this is happening. He's always been supportive because we've been together so long. We've been through a lot together. Um, but I would say that the fact that I'm not constantly worrying about my weight and not constantly, judging myself and criticizing myself. I think I think it has improved our marriage, but I do think that makes him happier because I think that it makes him feel like he's not always walking on eggshells anymore, to be quite frank. Like, I think he was probably always like,
Ooh.
God, she's going to ask me again. Like, does her butt look big? Or, oh, God, here she goes again, talking about her stomach. Yeah, I mean, whatever it was, I'm not doing that anymore because I don't, because those feelings aren't there. So I think that has helped.
That
It
was
definitely has
deep.
helped
That was really,
intimacy.
that hit me deep. I felt that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And it has definitely helped intimacy because I feel like, you've spoken, about this and stuff too, like the old ways of like, oh gosh, I'm going to run into my closet and get dressed because, I don't want him to see this or that or anything. And because I am nourishing my body better, I don't feel as like bloated and puffy and all that stuff. So I just feel like that's not a big deal anymore. Now, I'm not going to I'm not going to lie and say like, oh, I just flaunt around it. No, that is not happening. But definitely that has improved like intimate life, so that is a really good thing. And I feel like in a way it also has given me a bit more patience, because I'm not always feeling internally angry or upset or guilty at myself, which I think has improved like my output. I'm not as
Yeah.
cringy anymore. I still could, if he watches this, he may disagree, but um I just feel a little bit more even keeled, if that makes sense. I just, overall, I don't feel like I'm as paranoid and worried about that, especially around him. And like I said, we've been through a lot together, so that has been a really welcomed perk with everything
I love
with
that.
this program.
I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, and so last question, because I mean, obviously, I know you're super busy, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but more a little bit on the family. So, how, as a mom, how do you think that this has impacted, or how do you think that your experience will now impact your kids, or how do you think it has impacted your kids?
Oh gosh. You know, I my biggest hope and dream is that um so with my mom was a single mom growing up, and then my dad was remarried, so my mom was like quick easy meals. We didn't really always sit around the table together. And then when I was at my dad's house, it was always like a big meal, like meat, potatoes, dessert, everything. And generally everybody was around the table. So I kind of had a little bit of both. But what I really hope with my kid, what I hope what this brings with my kids is that, that we're trying to cook, healthy meals together, but we're trying to cook balanced meals, because I know that I don't want to keep saying like healthy, and it's not about the recipes, but sitting down and trying to make it a point of, this is how we nourish ourselves. And I do feel like I'm talking more with my kids, and my boys are in sports, about like, hey, let's get some protein in there. And I just feel like better equipped to talk about nutrients and their importance, and what it does for our bodies, and not in a negative way. And then of course with my daughter, I really, oh God, I can only pray that it's just setting a really solid example for her of, this is how my mom is taking care of herself. And she's a happy mom, and she's a healthy mom, and she plays with me, and she can keep up with me and that kind of thing. But even at 10, I just already hear rumblings of it, because she's a growing girl, and oh my gosh, it just terrifies me. So I can only hope and pray that because I've put the work into myself, that I can then exude just positivity with food so that they have a positive relationship with food and they don't ever have to experience anything like this. But beyond the food, just that they are happy with themselves,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what we all want for our kids and our families. Um, but if we're not taking care of ourselves as moms, and we're not, putting in some time for us, then that whole thought of like pouring out ourselves to everybody else is just, it's draining. It's just not even, it's not even realistic. So yeah, it just, I don't know. I feel like I'm fumbling around on my
No,
words.
no. Like I loved what you said about how you hope that because she can witness it, because
Yeah.
she sees you do it. Because I think that that's the thing is, I mean, and my babies are so young, you would obviously know this better than I would, but I really truly believe that our kids learn from examples. They don't
Oh
learn
yeah.
from us just chirping in their ear. We have to live and breathe the life because
Yeah.
otherwise it's just going to fall on deaf ears. Like I mean, like we've all like we come from generations of moms who for better or worse like ended up putting themselves on the back burner. So it's up
Mm-hmm.
to us to be able to break that chain
Yep.
and set a new standard of self-care and putting ourselves up on that pedestal because we deserve it. So I love that you said that I'm hoping that she's seeing me do it so that she
Mm-hmm.
can carry it in herself.
Yep. And it's that she's seeing it authentically. I'm not faking it. I'm not lying. I'm not, using words to misrepresent. Like, she is seeing this naturally happening. And so, yeah, I think we're on the right path, thanks to you.
Oh my God. And getting all of that goodness, thanks to you, getting all of that goodness, all of that knowledge, all of the skill sets that you've learned, you're now passing it down to her. So I think that
Yeah.
that is so, so beautiful. Okay, Mama. Well, I want to just thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with me and to talk about your experience. It has been my honor, obviously, to work with you and to travel this journey together because you make it so enjoyable and every moment is so inspirational being alongside you. So I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, well, you have changed my life. So I really hope that anybody who is considering this program or thinking about it, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It is a must. You have changed my life, and I absolutely would not be where I am today without you, my friend. So
So
thank
sweet.
you.
You're so sweet. Okay, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for today. But if you have any more questions, for Brooke or for me or whatever, you can just comment below the video or shoot me a DM. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great Friday and a great weekend. And I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.
Bye.